Yeah, go on.
Yes, I completely agree. I think no one can actually deny the fact that DR and SOA does indeed rape him. Two things. One, almost everyone in the Vortex is raped by that combo, if you think about it. Second point, while it's true, DR and SOA is quite common. There's Arno, there's Gina, there's Yuki. But on certain weeks, you'll never see that. And on other times, you can try to play around it, go ahead. The main reason, if we can skip to rating, and sorry for doing that to y'all, but the reason I gave him 10 out of 10, and I still give him a 10 out of 10, is, if you think about it, there's been a lot of dominant 5-stars in the game. One of the most famous, I think, that we can all agree on is Copper. He has a potential 9-8 that has plus 8 attack, who can do a lot of 2 KO that a lot of people thought was one of the most powerful cards allowed in ELO in the game. When he gets hit by SOA, he becomes a 4-8, and that's virtually unplayable. Almost anything with SOA can beat him. When whatever his name is, the leader of Vortex, gets hit by SOA, yes, he gets hurt a lot. His damage becomes 4, and that's really bad for a 5-star. But he keeps that 8 power, which lets him fight a lot of enemies, and he's not instantly destroyed like a lot of other powerful things were.
Okay, but then again, though, I mean, if the card does become ELO, like a really overused ELO card, though, I can't just imagine people just preparing for him during the week and everything by just putting loads of roots, a defensive roots half in their deck or whatever. Because if you're gonna, I can imagine things like Arno, Yuki, Gina and all that just being used in the deck though. But the thing is that you do say that he does keep his 8 power. However, if you're gonna argue that, okay, you can just go 1 pill whatever and then you get 2 damage in. However, your opponent is gonna be using his 2-star card to be able to absolutely diffuse his 8 5-star card though. So in that sense your opponent is winning and
Well, one thing, sorry for just completely ignoring Bojax in this conversation, by the way.
Yeah, sorry.
But, one, if you're going to attack with him first and your opponent has a 2-star, I don't know why you're leading with him. He would obviously be a counter then. Second, if your opponent has to make a deck that counters him, I think that by itself is worthy of a lot of points in the overall system. A lot of people made anti-Kylus decks, and I don't think we can say that Kylus is a bad card.
Yeah.
Let me throw something in here. Granted, you do expect counters one week. Say Roots do have Lou because she is now high up on the ELO rating ban list or whatever you want to call it. You can always prepare for decks like that. Seablade, Dag, sure they may be hurt, but you can match the Roots' power, and you can get pills back. So you may be crippled damage-wise, but you can always, I think you can push through it.
Okay.
And as I said before, Vortex in general has this problem. So you can't really blame one card for a clan problem.
Okay. I don't know if I would agree with you there, just because, just for the sake of argument. It's very hard to play against defensive Roots halves, in my opinion, and Vortex are probably the worst clan to go up against them. It's just so hard to win. I mean, your opponent can literally just sit and wait with his Lou, and then absolutely, kill you in that sense. But I mean, even if you did have the huge kind of pill advantage with the Vortex, they won't actually be able to convert that damage with all the Roots DR going everywhere.
Are you talking a half deck, or are you thinking mono?
Probably. Oh, I should think about it now. Actually, yeah, probably mono slash.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, mono it'll be a huge problem though.
Mono, the whole Vortex clan's in trouble. If you have a half deck and you only have to face 2 Roots, and you've got Seablade in your hand, they're going to be tiptoeing around that card as well. They're also going to be trying to tiptoe around Dren as well, this Vortex leader. So I think they'll be fine with half decks. Mono, no.
And to be fair, Vortex isn't, as Bojack said before, you don't really use a mono Vortex. Mono Vortex basically loses its bonus on the last round, and every other time, if it wins, it has no bonus. So I would not recommend mono Vortex, at least as of yet.
Okay. Just very quickly though, because there was actually a lot of discussion about Offglin versus versus Drake, and that's actually quite a valid argument, actually. Do you think that Ofglin is better than Drug, Slify?
No, not at all. I can see why people like Ofglin more. Ofglin has a higher potential thing. Ofglin is better if you want to have a bigger gap. Ofglin is probably an even safer card, I'd probably debate, even though it has less power. You use the leader of the Vortex for 2 KOs. That's what he does best. That's what he will do. Ofglin cannot 2 KO. You can combo him with cards like Uranus, other really good DRs, and he's probably better than leader of the Vortex. I'll never be able to pronounce his name, in that sense. But if you're going for a solid, structure of trying to 2 KO your opponent and not stall till round 4, I think Ofglin is not the solid choice.
Okay. What about you, though, Bojax? Would you agree with Slify with Drug being better than Ofglin?
Yes. Like he's already stated. Well, I don't know if he said this, but Vortex isn't built as a life gap clan. It's not like you have a ton of DR and you don't have a ton of plus life. So I don't think he's as useful in that sense. They all seem to have a solid 4 base. Some have higher, like Sunder. So I think he's built for the 2-hit KOs. Like with Pussycats, yeah, they have the same type of card, but they were built for life gaps. So Deetha is great. But in this case, no, there's no competition.
Okay, that's a very interesting point, actually. Think about now that the Vortex actually, they've only got 1 DR, and that is actually, unfortunately, Naholi, whatever her name is. So yeah, would you use both cards in a half deck though, Ofglin and Dragon, Bojax?
Would I use both of those 5 cards in?
Yeah, would you risk doing that? I mean, I know it would be interesting to see if someone tries it, both of those cards in the half deck for the Vortex. Because at the moment, to me, the Vortex 5 stars are actually still very good, in my opinion.
Together, absolutely not. But I am going to test them both and just see how they stack up against each other. Together, I just think it would be too difficult, too unstable of a deck.
But no, I don't know if you would say it's unstable though, because I mean, remember when Hawk and Cooper were about in the ELO metagame, and no one could stop that combination, both of those cards. And I can see it being quite good at. I don't know, that's just my opinion on it, really. But
can I chime in on this?
Yeah, go on.
I agree with Bojack more. The thing is, if you're gonna play whatever his name is, leader of the Vortex, he's going to do 8 damage, and yes, Ofglin can do a KO with him, but if I was going to do that, I would rather use Dag, who's 1 star lower and has attack manipulation to go with it. Ofglin is a good card, I'll never deny this, because, his life potential thing is very high. The thing is, he doesn't combo well with something that's trying to do a lot of damage, and if you have, too much versatility at once, you're probably going to fall apart.
Okay. What is your final rating out of 10 though, Slify?
I already said it. Still 10 out of 10. I still think he's a great card. I don't think he's as good as Kylus is, though. And Kylus is banned all over the place. I think he'll actually be less banned than Kylus will be. He'll probably be banned all over the table, though, still. So, he's a good card, in my opinion. 8 solid power. Potential 8 damage, virtually, whatever, Majig. Defeat probably isn't the best ability in the world for him, but as I said before, it leads to really cool chains that I think your opponent will have to really they'll have to really think about it, or they'll completely forget he has defeat, so they'll overpill against him, and then they're basically in a rut.
Okay. And what would you give him out of 10, Bojax?
A 9 out of 10, because I just can't give a card a 10 out of 10, just not yet at least. But I completely agree with Slify.
Okay. In my opinion, he is still an insanely good card. I still love this card quite a lot. Against DRs, most of the time he still will be able to get a fair chunk of damage into you. SOA is going to be a little bit of a problem, but hopefully he can work a way around it. Let's say I would definitely put Seablade into your deck. I think if you're going to use you're going to use Dragon. Maybe use another stock card or whatever that's better than Sea-Wing, but I would definitely try and do that or something. As I said, he's a very good card and everything. His only huge issue, and this might be an issue if he becomes a very good overpowered card in the ELO metagame, is that people might want to use loads of like defensive SOA DR decks, well like half decks or whatever with like Yuki and Arno and all that stuff. That's my only issue with him, unfortunately. But nevertheless, anything that can do 8 damage or whatever and have all the defeat and everything, and pair up with like every single card in the Vortex is just insane in my opinion. And I'm just gonna just say this. I probably regret it in the future if it doesn't happen. But I think he's probably going to be the new Kylus of the ELO metagame and of the game really. I would probably give him a 9 out of 10, maybe even 10 out of 10 like Slify. He is a very good card, and for all those naysayers, just remember, he's just pretty much he's just insane and everything like that. Alright then, right, so that unfortunately is the end of your talk, and yes, it has been an insanely long edition. This has probably gone on for about an hour now, so if you managed to make it all the way to this last vid, I congratulate you and all that, so
yay.
Yeah,
Applause.
You win a prize. It's
a hug.
It's
Ask Bojax in 1984 for your free cards.
Oh, I was given a hug.
Oh, a hug.
Oh,
okay.
Hug equals free cards.
I see. So all those people that managed to make it all the way to this end, you get something called a social life. I'm just throwing that one out.
Ouch.
That's quite.
Way to insult the fans.
Yeah, just. Okay, now I'm only joking. No, thanks for if you managed to make it all the way to this end and everything. It's been a very long edition of your talk and everything. If you have any opinions, of course, just put them below in the comments and everything. Final thank you to White Dragon 11 again for letting us have his cards, or letting us borrow the new cards from 2 weeks ago, but he didn't let us borrow them this time, so, we hate you for that. But
what a jerk.
Not
letting us borrow free cards.
That is absolutely atrocious from White Dragon there,
How unprofessional.
Yeah, how unprofessional indeed, Slify. Anyway, that's it from us and everything, so this is... Meep012, Bojax, and Slify signing out. I'll see you then.